a few bodies getting here first. And Chubb, 22 carries for 141 yards. 6.4. God dang. No touchdowns, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, you ready? JD? Oh, there you go. Hey, JD, I lost you?
Yeah, I think you got me.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. All right.
I had two windows open. My bad.
You good? You good? All right. Hey there, Panther fans. Welcome to week one of the Four Man Rush post game podcast show. I'm your main man, Kevin Avery, aka Country Kev, here. Along with tonight, I got my main man, Jadarius, aka on Twitter, Mr. Panthers Den 4MR. It was a rough one today, folks. Week one home loss to the visiting Cleveland Browns, who ended their nearly 2 decade long losing streak of losing their opening game. It's just like the Panthers to let something that's never happened before and not happened a long time to take place. But hey, it is what it is. Panther fans, we know how it goes. Um, Pretty much, this was a very physically dominating game by the Browns. I know the final score makes it seem like it was closer, but from a physicality point of view, the Browns dominated this game from start to finish. It was just the Russian attack led by Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt just pretty much set the tone. Jacoby Brissett was allowed to get away with 147 yards passing to pull off the win. Their rookie kicker kicked 4 field goals. Um, both touchdowns by the Browns. One rushing, one receiving was by Kareem Hunt. So, yeah, it was an ugly day at Bank of America Stadium today. Uh, JD, what's your opening statement about the game?
I was about to be a part of, like, staunchly a part of the Fire Rule clan after that first half. Like, the first half, I just knew at halftime this game was all the way over. Just because we couldn't move the ball on offense consistently and we couldn't stop the run at that point. I remember you putting in our chat that they had 122 yards rushing through the first half. So at that point, I just figured the game was over. I even tweeted, I was like, okay, uh, spoiler alert, we about to lose. So I'll say this much: I was pleased to see us fight back, um, and I was definitely not expecting it to be as close as it was. Especially like at that point, I just figured it was a point of just about how much we would lose by. So I mean, we hate to say that there's a silver lining in this,
Right.
but it, it's kind of one of those games to where like this could have easily been a 3 touchdown game by halftime on into the second half. So to see our guys fight back, get some stops, it was cool to see. Really wish they would have able to get that last stop though, and but yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, you was talking about the last stop. I mean, when you look at the time of possession, I mean, my God, 38 minutes. The Browns offense had the ball. It's only 24 minutes with the Panthers. Um, I heard it was a humid day at Bank of America Stadium. So, you got the defense, out there on the field at long minutes. It's gonna be some dead legs in the fourth quarter. That pass rush ain't got the pop that it needs, and there was already questions about who was gonna be the other pass rush outside of Brian Burns, and were we able to get any interior pass rush as well. Um, one of our free agent pickups, Ioannidis, heard he left the game with cramps. So, he's a pass rushing interior defensive lineman for us. So, how do you feel the time of possession played a part into it?
Yeah, I mean, if you can't stop the run, you're not going to be able to get off the field. They actually absolutely blew us out as far as time of possession goes. Um, but yeah, that last drive, you can definitely tell in some cases, especially on some snaps, we were just a step slow. I think it kind of took some wind out of the pass rushing cell when Burns gets home, but the ref calls a roughing the passer because the tackle's arm hits their quarterback in the head. But you can tell, like, especially some point sporadically throughout the game, that the pass rush just isn't what it used to be with we having to replace Reddick and things like that. And I was disappointed to see the contain broken again. Yes, it's one of the best pass rushing attacks in the league in Cleveland, but I definitely want to see a better showing there. We missed a bunch of tackles, just didn't wrap up. Arm tackles is not going to work against Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, so um, something we got to get back in the lab for.
Yeah, it goes into what we were discussing in the chat, how the lack of the starters playing and doing a whole lot of tackling during training camp and preseason. How that can lead to it being sloppy. I mean, from what I heard, it just seemed like every time they ran a wide zone right or wide zone left, it's like we were just going for legs and they were just overstepping. I heard on one play, Nick Chubb broke like 5 tackles before he got taken down. I'm like, damn, really? Just
Right.
yeah, just crazy, man.
It's a part, like, run fitting is interesting in that it takes the whole unit. Because like if you lose contain, that's a big play right there easily. Um, so many times this game, Nick Chubb hit chunk plays, and it's like, damn, like they can run the ball once and it'll be 2nd and 5, and then we get 2 yards. It's still 3rd and short. It's easy to convert because they averaging 5 yards a carry. So it's like it just puts you behind the 8 ball. And I feel like when Snow designed our defensive scheme, is pass oriented. Like, we're gonna rush the
Mm.
passer, we're gonna play man coverage, and we're gonna force your quarterback to beat us. But that's not gonna work if you ain't stopping the run. And I mean, like, for our case, if you're gonna play that way, um, shout out my guy Darian said it in the other chat. He was like, you can't get worse in pass rush and still not stop the run. Like, you should have just retained Reddick, been as good and potent rushing the passer if you're just not going to stop the run either way. So it's like they've got to find an identity there. Maybe it's time to start looking at some different mixtures of guys on the interior and for that defensive end room.
When you look at our roster, I mean, who do you think could possibly be? Because here's what I noticed. You know, Cleveland pretty much copied the same blueprint that the Dallas Cowboys exposed us in Week 4 of last year. They went to a heavy unbalanced offensive line, and what that means is when I say they went heavy, is that they replaced their tight end with another tackle, and then when I say unbalanced, so not only did they have center, guard, tackle, then a lot of times they had a tight end or two tight ends on the end of that third tackle. So you're talking about a pretty much run centric offensive line look with them still pulling their backside Pro Bowl guard. So it, for me, we lighten the ass anyway. When it comes to the end, we're talking about Brian Burns. He's what now? What 250 maybe?
Yep.
I think gross models he may be what 265.
Yep.
Something like that. Marquise Haynes, I think he's up to what 245. So, we start getting these 300-pounders, all lining up on one particular side. I mean, you can know where the player is going and still not be able to do too much about it. So that's what I mean when I say they went heavy, unbalanced a lot, which is what Dallas did. And I think that we're going to continue to see teams do that on us until we find some way to counter that or to stop that. The NFL is definitely a copycat league. And I just think that we are really going to be facing teams that's going to be like, look, these guys can't stop to run for nothing. And we're going to face teams that's going to have much better quarterback play that can still run the ball too. So this is something we definitely got to, nip in the bud.
I can't say that there's an answer. Looking at the room on the defensive line, it's a lot of tweeners on here. Like guys that'll play like in between, but they're not necessarily one or the other. Like in my opinion, we lack that true 5 technique that can play down to 3 if need be. I thought Henry Anderson did a better job as soon as we got down the stretch and we started selling out against the run. I thought he did a better job at penetration and actually securing his tackle or securing the making the tackle. So maybe seeing more of him helps, but even still, they'll just go unbalanced to the other side. Like we've been running like heavy. Like we'll put all like 300-pound guys next to each other or have like YGM, Hoskins, Roy, and then on the other side we'll have like Luvu and motherfucking Brian Burns. So it's like obviously we're gonna run to the light side. So I don't know. It's something Snow has to get back in the lab for. It's something we definitely need solved because we're not gonna be able to bang with teams late in the year like this.
Yeah, we're definitely not gonna be able to do that at all. Now, when we look at it from a defensive point of view, what was it that? Because when you look at the stats by Jacoby Brissett, you say 147 yards, but it seems like on third down, we wasn't able to get the stops, and with the way we, and when I say we, I'm talking about fans hyped up our secondary, and let's be honest, some of the players hyped themselves up. I thought we was going to be locking stuff down on third down. What was it exactly that you saw? Because this is your specialty. What I'm saying, the secondary, and receivers versus DBs. What was it that you were seeing that was causing the Browns to get success on third down, particularly with the pass? Was it just matchups, or was it good play design, or was it just bad execution? Like, what was it that you were seeing?
A lot of third downs today actually went to Donovan Peoples-Jones, from what I was able to notice. Excuse me, gracious, they about to kill me.
Yeah, whew. Seriously.
But no, I didn't hate the matchups we rolled out there. We had Dante over Donovan Peoples-Jones a lot, which is fine. Donovan Peoples-Jones can have some speed on him and stuff like that. I mean, I was not a fan of running more man coverage because you got Amari Cooper out there, got our guys looking stupid on the island. Like it was a tough day because a lot of times people will look at this Browns wide receiver group and they'll say, "Oh, it's Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and then a bunch of young guys or improving guys." But I thought they put their guys in a good position to succeed. Like they called a couple rub concepts, and even though we were able to recover and play over it, it just gave their receiver just enough time to connect with their quarterback Brissett, and they'll just boom. Like a lot of the catches for third downs were contested too, so some of those we just need those. Like Dante could have undercut a route today, and that probably would have been either a pick or interception or a pass breakup, and that's one of the third downs right there. So it's like it's I would credit the Browns for putting their guys in the position to succeed and calling good plays, but we need those if we're gonna be an elite defense like they think they can be. So um, out of like overall in the defensive back group, I was disappointed, honestly. J.C. Horn had a rough day. C.J. Henderson had a big pass interference call that probably would have been intercepted either way, even if he didn't interfere with the receiver. So um, it was just a tough day for a young group of guys, and hopefully they can bounce back and get their mojo back.
Yeah, I definitely came in feeling very confident that the matchup favored our secondary. And again, when you look at the stats, you think, man, they only gave up 147 yards passing. Man, they played a good game, but within the context of the game, which is where we at the Foreman Rush like to point attention to, man, is when they got those yards. A lot of those yards came on third down. They kept the chain moving. Like I said, they were, as you look at our, track stats at the bottom here, they on third down, the Browns were 8 of 18. That's like 48%, while the Panthers were 4 of 11. So that's extending the drive, more to keep that clock rolling so that, Chubb and Hunt can keep, tearing us up on the ground. And it was just, yeah, man, it was just hard to swallow.
Yeah.
But looking at different aspects of the game, let's talk a little bit more about the quarterback play here. As you know, the matchup was supposed to be Deshaun Watson versus Baker Mayfield, but with him getting that 11-game suspension, the Browns gave the keys over to Jacoby Brissett. And as the stats say here, he had 18 of 34, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, QBR rating of 37.3, passer rating of 74, while Baker Mayfield, 16 of 27, 235 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, QBR 36.4, passer rating 84.7. So again, with this something that you definitely study and well versed and well known for, JD, tell me what was it about how would you assess the quarterback play for both? I know what you said in the chat, but I'd rather you explain yourself here.
Yeah, to be honest with you, what it looked like to me was the Browns played complementary football, which eased up the load on Jacoby. So Jacoby ended up attempting more passes than Baker did, but I feel like they picked their spots better than we did. So when you look at the beginning of the game for Baker Mayfield, it's like we went 3 and out back to back, and we threw the ball 4 times out of 6 times and ran the ball like twice. And it's the little stuff like that. I feel like if you're going to put your quarterback out there, you got to have some balance. I can respect from the OC's perspective of trying to get their guy started and trying to get Baker in a rhythm early, but you can't just put your guys like that in a situation where they can just be attacked and they know it's going to be a passing situation. Like, you can't do that. And obviously, I think McAdoo did a good job of cleaning that up in the second half and realizing, hey, we have the best running back in the league. Let's kind of use him. Or we have one of the best running backs in the league, and he's pretty good at football. So let's see if we can get the ball to him. But it was just a matter of one team played to their strengths better than the other one did. And overall, I would say for Baker, that first half was extremely rough. Missed a couple guys. Shi Smith, my guy, running wide open on the little slant, overthrew him to a pick. It's the little stuff like that. But the second half,
I heard that was one of the more uglier
that's the Baker
passes
Mayfield I'm trying to see.
that overthrow to
Oh
Shot
yeah,
Smith.
it was it
I
was
heard
it
I,
was
I heard that
horrible.
was
It was
brutal. I
horrible.
heard it was brutal.
It was disgusting. That was probably one of the. Oh, I won't say it was worse than anything we seen from Darnold because I seen some shoo from Darnold, but like it was approaching that level. I don't know if he didn't set his feet and tried to just strong arm it up in there, but yeah,
Right.
that was one you definitely need back, and I'm pretty sure that would have been a first down plus and then some. Like Shot Smith had room to run, so definitely need those. But yeah, second half Baker definitely turned up, and that's the kind of guy I'm looking forward to seeing more of. And we'll see if he can continue that streak right there.
Yeah, I mean, when he came out in the fourth quarter, when we got the ball back and just immediately, threw that, bomb for 75 yards to Robbie, I was like, shit, okay, well, let's talk about it. I mean, now again, I had to listen to it because the NFL app played me. I thought I could watch it. That particular play, I don't know if you can remember off the top of your head, what type of formation alignment, but what did you see? Was it just great execution? Did a Browns player, was it blown coverage? Like, what did you see on that touchdown pass from Baker Mayfield to Robbie Anderson to get the comeback started for us?
Yeah, it was definitely a blown coverage from the Brown standpoint. It looked like to me that their outside corner, which was Greg Newsome, thought that he would have safety help, but that safety dove underneath and tried to jump a route, an outbreaking route to DJ Moore. So um, it sounded like a almost like it was like a deep post. So Robbie's on the post, DJ's on the inside of him. It probably was 13 personnel now. I think. Well, mm, I'm pretty sure we had three receivers out in the formation, but Robbie definitely was on the deep post. Greg Newsome thought he had help over the top. And that's all she wrote. Excellent ball placement too from Baker. Excellent catch from Robbie. Offensive line actually did an amazing job. That was one of the better plays from Icky that game too. He had Garrett on him. He was assigned to Garrett. That was his blocking assignment, and just he just washed him out of play. So if Icky doesn't get that block, that play never happens.
Yeah, definitely. It was a rough third quarter for Equanu, giving up back-to-back sacks, and then I think like a pressure right after that. But outside of that, I thought he battled, Myles Garrett pretty good throughout the game. I mean, even though Garrett got the best of him on those back-to-back plays, but outside of that little stretch, I mean, will it be fair to say that Equanu pretty much on the other plays was holding his own against Garrett?
He was mixing it up. I'm not gonna lie to you. As a guy, let me eat a little bit of crow.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna eat a little bit of crow here, Kev. I'm one of those guys that said kick Icky inside. It was a little less. In my defense, it was less because of like his ability to play tackle. I think he could play tackle. I think today he's shown that he has some upside at left tackle in the league, but I thought it was more so of giving the offensive line an identity. I feel like that left side, well, I would say 4 out of 5 positions, honestly, our guys are playing out of the position. Like you have Pat Elflein, who probably should be on the bench anyway. Um, Austin Corbett is like a pass protector. Um, he's not really a guy that's going to give you push. Um, I think I think Christensen might be the most talented as far as like pass blocking, and
Mm-hmm.
he's not. He doesn't have that the power or the physicality to move guys, but he's on the interior. And Icky is probably the most physical out of all of them, and probably has the best feet out of all of them. And he's forced to play on an island versus the best pass rusher the other team has, which is cool. Like he can grow into that. But as far as like an overall narrative, you haven't given your O line anything they can hang their hat on because you're not getting push, and you're not gonna. Obviously, they showed that they're not going to be a power running team, even though they said that they would be. Um,
Right.
but the upside is definitely there. I would say that much. I thought the left side of the line looked better than the right side of the line, honestly, today. Overall, I saw a couple plays from F line and Corbett that give me pause. I have to go back and triple check just to make sure because I was watching on the fly. But I think we got something there at left tackle that as long as they let that man, they need to let that man roll grade people, move people, do what he do, and he'll be straight out there.
Now on the other side of the O line, the matchup was Taylor Moton versus Jadeveon Clowney. I didn't really hear Clowney's name mentioned maybe like a couple of times. Did it seem like Moton had a good game against him?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was watching the left side more than I was watching Taylor, but
Okay.
yeah, Clowney definitely had some pass breakups just by throwing his hands up or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Moton, the right side of the line would have looked better if it wasn't for Corbett or if it wasn't for F line. That little duo, I'm still unsure of right there on the interior. So that's the middle of the line, a little bit to the left. So I mean, a little bit to the right. So that center right guard, I'm still unsure about. But Clowney didn't appear to have too many wins as far as like pass rushing goes. But again, I'll need to go back and double check and check the film on that. But yeah, the O line still needs to gel together. I feel like most of the O line people knew that this was going to be the outcome, especially given that the starting unit didn't start playing together until like camp was almost over, essentially. So we'll
Right.
see. Definitely had some botched snaps between Baker and F line today. I think we had like six or seven botched snaps between quarterback and center. Luckily, I don't think they lost any of them, but even still, that's just absolutely unacceptable. So we'll see if Bradley Bozeman is able to come back healthy and kind of escort F line back to the bench, or what goes on that way.
Yes, escort him back expeditiously.
Please, Lord.
F line is not it. Okay.
I think Cade Mays might be able to throw his head in that discussion too, honestly.
Hey,
If it's not for center, then maybe for guard.
yeah, we'll see, man. I think because of size of the contract, you didn't get Corbett all this money, but truth be told, man, I mean, from take it from preseason snaps, I mean, Cade Mays, he definitely plays with a physicality and an aggressiveness that I didn't see out there today. So, it just comes down to who earns their reps during practice in the week. That's pretty much what Rule says. So we know we know when it goes by what Rule tells us how much grain of salt to take it with. So I'll I just leave that there. All right. So this was one of the more anticipated running back matchups. I felt like we had uh, between starter and backup. I think this was probably uh, heading to this game one of the better running back combos to come into the game. Let me see. With Nick Chubb, we're looking at someone who definitely did he make Pro Bowl last year, JD?
I don't know, but he's definitely that caliber kind of player, though, for sure.
Yeah, because the stats on Chubb here was let's see. Yeah, the stats on Chubb was 22 carries for 141 yards. That's like 6.4 yards a carry. Hunt, 11 carries, 46 yards. He got the one rushing touchdown. While for the Panthers, McCaffrey, and based on the season last year, Deontay Foreman, who came over from the Tennessee Titans, I thought was going to be a formidable backup. I don't know why we abandoned the run game early, where we're not getting the run blocks up front. Again, I hate I didn't get to see it. Probably have to go back and watch it. Me and Smooth, we the trench guys, so we probably have to go back and look. But from what I heard, McCaffrey and Foreman were barely used in the first half, and when you look at the final tallies, I mean, I know you want to be cautious and protective McCary, but he needs more than 10. He needs more than 10 carries for 33 yards, and a majority of that was on one of those fumbled spot snaps you was talking about, where he picked up and raced down the sideline for 20 something yards. So outside of that and the 1 yard jump over the end zone, that was pretty much it for McCaffrey as far highlight plays. Deontay Foreman only 2 carries for 5 yards. Baker got in with a 7-yard touchdown run as well. But overall, what you going to speak on? What do you feel about the rushing attack that we saw, or lack thereof? Because we know the Browns showed theirs. What?
Oh yeah.
What do you see happening with the Panthers run game? Was it play calling, run fits, blocking? What, from your vantage, what were you seeing?
I gotta blame a majority of it on play calling, honestly. Like the if you look at the rushing attacks across the league, right? We just saw the Browns today. You'll see like San Fran. You'll even see a team like KC, not known for their run game, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire just absolutely demolished me in fantasy this week. So those teams find ways to run the ball. Like, there's no excuse at this point. You revamped your O-line. You said you wanted to be a power run team. Just commit to it. There's no reason why we should be going back to back 3 and outs, throwing the ball 4 to 6 times out of like 9 times. It's like it's absolutely preposterous to me that even as a team, like, outside of that 22-yard run or whatever, the 20-plus yard run, Christian would have averaged 1 yard a carry outside of that busted play. Like, their receiver, Schwartz, averaged more than him without that one play.
Wow.
It's stuff like that. And honestly, I thought Foreman looked good on one of his runs. I forget which one. I have to go back and look at it, but like, at 2 carries, you just said you would use him to spell McCaffrey. Like, you brought him here to be the second running back, and it don't look like it. He got less carries. Baker Mayfield had more carries.
Right.
Like DJ Moore had he had 1 carry. That's only 1 less than what Dante Foreman had. So it's like, you said you was gonna use this man. Obviously, he brings a skill set that we don't have. Use him. Like, it's like, you got to do something. You can't just keep passing quick slant. Like, that's not going to work against a team like the Browns, or a team that even has any idea how to defend an NFL offense. Like, this is just not going to work. So I don't know if McAdoo was just trying to get Baker into a rhythm, get his passing game going, or if this is that naivety that most NFL OCs have, like, oh, I'm just gonna run my offense. And no, bro, run the ball, bro. It's like, and it's a part of the reason why the defense had so many batted balls in the passing game. It's because their offensive line is on their heels. You ain't let them set the tone. So it's like, it should be simple football. Like, anybody with a football IQ is going to be like, well, if we're struggling on first and second down, let's run the ball. Find a way to run the ball. Like, we just saw multiple ways the Browns did it. They did outside zones. They even did little pitch plays, pulling their guard. It's like, they ran off tackle. They ran up the middle. It's like, they did an end around. We did 1 end around. They did like multiple. They got 20 yards from it. So it's like, you're not just going to be good at running the ball just by happenstance. Like, you got to make a commitment to run the ball.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the plays you were describing. And by the way, folks, if you have yet to hear the Panthers broadcast team on the radio today, Luke Kuechly and Jake Delhomme do a great, excellent description. Luke, you could tell Luke was pissed. Luke was, you can tell Luke still has that it in him, even though we know he's not coming back, but, and I think he's better off. Stan retired, even though his talent is missed. But yeah, him and Jake, it's like having the two Tony Romos in the booth describing the game. I mean, it was just a joy to hear. It was just like, I think from now on, I'm just going to mute the game when I watch it on TV and just listen to them describe it on the radio because, Panther fans, this is definitely a treat. Just want to say that, but yeah, everything you said, Luke Kuechly was pretty much calling out on the field, with the type of run plays, the pull and pin and the wide stretch zone. It's just pretty much, naming it and the way when you look at the carries, like I said, our top two running backs only had 12 carries. What is that? you know, um, you know, Kareem Hunt by himself had 11 carries. The backup running back had almost as many as both our running backs today. Which is just mind-numbing to me. But we'll see how they adjust, and hopefully the improvements in the second half that can point out some things that we can build upon. This was just hard to watch and take in today, JD. I just got to be honest with you, bro.
Bro, I was sick to my stomach, bro.
Yep. All right. Well, we talked about running ball. Let's talk about the passing attack again. You mentioned it earlier here. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. So Donovan People-Jones for the Browns, 6 receptions, 60 yards. Kareem Hunt, 4 receptions, 24 yards to touchdown. Robbie Anderson, 5 catches, 102 yards in the touchdown. Ian Thomas with the big play, 2 receptions, 53 yards. DJ Moore, 3 catches, 43 yards. And McCaffrey, 4 catches, 24 yards. I know that the Browns were without Greedy Williams, their number 2 cornerback today. And I know Denzel Ward was going to be on Moore, so I knew Moore had his work cut out for him. Looked like Robbie was able to take advantage somewhat. I know he was missed on a couple of balls by Baker as well, so I think they got to work on their chemistry. But from the way it sounded on the radio, it seemed like there were a lot of missed opportunities in the passing game for us to strike for big plays. Would you say that's accurate, JD?
Yeah, overall, I would say that's pretty fair. I think some of it is the fact that Cleveland's defense was pinning their ears back for the most part. A part of it is that, but again, it's another part of it is just timing. I think Baker, as the game went on, you kind of felt saw him make more adjustments, be a little bit more aware. Like on one of the last drives, he was able to identify that a defender that was mugging the line was actually going to drop back out, and he did. So I feel like that first part of the half, like Cleveland just pinned their ears back, and they were just too fast for our passing attack to get a feel of timing and stuff like that. But once everything slowed down, you can see that the passing attack opened up a little bit. So. And shout out to Ian Thomas, bro. Like I did not have that on my bingo card at all. Him being the catalyst for us, but once he hit that 50-yard ball or whatever, it definitely you can definitely see these guys are human just like us, and they you cut them, they bleed too. Like they bust coverages too, even though they got like 11 first-round picks on their team, and low key they shouldn't have even been like in this position to give up the game to us because they got like 11 goddamn first round picks on their defense. But at the same time, yeah, you could definitely tell. So that ball to Shi Smith probably would have been a good 20 yards after the catch. So he was wide open. You had Robbie missed a couple of times. DJ was pretty much blanketed for the most part, but it was good to see him get loose once he got that ball. I feel like the turning point for DJ was that end around.
Yeah.
that definitely got him going a little bit, got him a little juice. So I want to see them get DJ Moore the ball more, bro. Like find ways to get him the ball, get him the rock. I don't care if it's a carry. I don't care if that man got to fake a punt. Like just get the ball in that man's hand. Like we got too many weapons for us to only average like our best weapon to only average like 14 touches or whatever. Like it's absolutely just ridiculous that DJ Moore only had four touches total to me in this game. So Robbie Anderson been getting slandered all off season. So it was good to see him have a good 100-yard performance and that big long ball that we hadn't seen in a little bit in Carolina. But this passing attack got room to grow, and I feel like it definitely goes hand in hand with the pass protection and Baker Mayfield's understanding of, okay, this is the time and this is my guy. If this guy comes, then I have a out route here. He missed Christian McCaffrey on a couple checkdowns, which would have saved him a sack or an incompletion a couple times. So
right.
They'll definitely go back and get that together. But the talent is there on the offensive side of the ball. I thought the tight ends played a good game. And that end around to DJ Moore never happens if Ian Thomas doesn't secure that edge. So definitely, I think Ian Thomas might have a game ball, honestly, because we was getting curb stomped that whole game till that man stepped up and was like, you know what? I'm just going to run up the seam and I'm going to get caught from behind, but it's still going to be the biggest play we had all day. So, yeah, shout out to Ian Thomas, man. And we'll see if these guys can get going a little bit more. Shout out my guy Shi Smith though. He gonna turn up one game. He gonna have like 150 yards, I swear.
Now, someone I didn't hear name, was he active? Did he play with Terrence Marshall Jr.? You know, a lot of people were concerned about him. Like, did he play? Did he get snaps? Was he active today?
That's a great question. I didn't even see the actors or the inactives before the game. Let me check.
Yeah, because I don't see him nowhere on stats, not even a target. So I'm like, wait a minute, second round pick.
Yeah, I'll let me see. Hold on. Do the chat know? Do y'all know if look out? Y'all got to give me some cheats. Hold on. He was active but did not play. I was like, thank you, Freddie. Yeah, they said he was active.
Okay, and we temporarily lost JD. He'll be back on here in just a moment. But let me see here. There you go.
I'm back. My bad.
And I think Monty trying to join us. Let me
Oh God.
Let me hit him up real quick here.
Let me plug my phone up right quick for us. Look, be on here arguing.
Right. I'm gonna roast that nigga when we get in. Okay, he say bet. Okay, Monty about to join us here in just a few.
You know who else I was surprised not to see?
Who's that?
Rashard Higgins.
Yeah, because he had a strong count.
Yeah, I just saw that in the chat, the doggone comments. I was like, wait, you're right. He is on the team. I don't know, bro.
Okay, here he is.
I don't know.
Live and living color, the one and only Monty.
What's going on, man? What's up,
Boy, you sound ugly.
Hey, you are ugly. So it's like there's big difference to levels to this shit, my boy.
What's good, Playboy?
Hey man, I am so over these motherfuckers right now, dog. So it's like y'all gotta bear me. I had to come away from looking at anything football for like an hour. So I was pissed the hell off. But I'm back.
I figured you probably went and had your old swig or something.
Man, but I'm half down the bottle because of these months, because of the team, brother. So that just go to show you how much they stress me out. But no, I'm back. I'm back and I'm live and direct.
Yeah, so pretty much what me and JD we've been talking about, just summarizing the game. We talked about the quarterback play, the running back play, and we was talking about the receivers. But man, by all means, Monty, jump in, give us your perspective, because from what we're saying, I mean, it looked like from the quarterback play, we held the Browns to 147 yards, but it seemed like those 147 yards, most of them came on third down to keep drives alive, because they were 8 of 18 on third down. Like
Right.
just give us your assessment on what you saw that you like and you didn't like today from the Panthers.
Right. Well, to start with, I think I think it's easier. I mean, when you coming in with a backup quarterback, your game plan is, I don't expect them to throw the ball around the field all game anyway. So we held them under 200 passing yards. When you're allowing 207 yards on the ground, that's the game there. And I feel like that's kind of where we have to start. We're in year 3 of Phil Snow's defense, and the run defense has not gotten much better in 3 years. I think it's just time that we gotta be honest about that. As big a fan and as much a supporter I have been of Derek Brown, we have to start seeing some more immediate or production from the interior defensive lineman, we've got to start accepting that Derek Brown isn't the guy that we thought he was. So I think let's start there. If we're going to go for things I wasn't happy about, the run defense was terrible today. I think we had a very slow start today, offensively and defensively. I think the defense held in there for the most part, and then it just we never could get it, put it all together in the first half. That's what it felt like. And then second half, Baker kind of caught fire. Love to see that there. He had some pretty. I love the ball that is actually a ball that we don't talk about. Is it was after the bomb to what was it? That last possession, I believe, or the second last possession, he threw to DJ for 26 yards. Like, that's a ball. It's like stuff like that. Like I'm happy to see, man. But it just, we never could put it together. I feel like we put it like it's a little too late. I mean, a little too much too late at the very end. I can't say I'm overly upset, just because Baker did play a good game in the fourth quarter, and we've seen so long, or we've seen for over the last 2 years, we'll see the opposite. We'll see quarterbacks put up a solid first half and then shit the bed the second half, or we've seen quarterbacks that can't step up in the fourth quarter. Baker played a great fourth quarter. It was the 2.5 quarters prior to that, that we struggled. So it's like I'm not overly upset about that. I think the run defense will be a little better. We're not going to be facing teams that got 2 running backs with the skill set that they have all year. And I also don't think Ekwonu, I don't think he's not going to face a pass rusher that like Myles Garrett all year as well. So I take a lot of it with a grain of salt. I'm the fire Matt Rule train is going to be as loud and as loud as it can be this week, and it should be. I feel like we have to start winning and winning now. But man, I've learned to not get too high or too low with this team, man. They stress you out if you do. So it is what it is.
You muted, bro.
Oh, and then we lost Monty. Ah, dang. Hopefully he can jump back on in real quickly. But
He felt this ball joke coming, because I was about to say, if you get stressed out, but you already ball, you ain't got nowhere else to go.
come on, Debo, stall him out. Yeah. Well, Jade, I asked you this question while I wait for Monty to jump back on. What I was going to ask him was, energy is a lot of reflection, and one thing that has been critical of Matt Rule is that it seems like the players don't always come out inspired or seem like they're prepared and ready to go. Okay, there go Monty. Welcome back, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, I'm back. My bad.
Yeah, I was in the middle of asking this question to JD that was meant for you, but now that you're back, I ask you. So you was mentioning about the whole fire Matt Rule thing. Let me ask you this, because again, I had to listen to the game on radio, so I couldn't physically see it.
Mhm.
I saw a lot of comments on Facebook and Twitter saying that the team looked like they was playing uninspired. They didn't look prepared. That's been one of the biggest criticisms is of Rule. Do you feel like that, with the way they do handle the reps in training camp and in the preseason, that kind of leads to us having these stagnant starts? Because I mean, you got week 1 at home, what I'm saying, fired up. You'd expect them to come out with their hair on fire, but it seems like, like you said, for 2.5 quarters, they were playing in a lull. Like, what was your sense of the energy or the vibe of the team?
Yeah, I never get, or I never get the vibe that they aren't inspired to play, or it's for lack of desire to want to be out. That's not the vibe I get now. Lack of execution, if that's where we want to go, or lack of being prepared, in a sense, I kind of get that, sense, and it could go. I mean, it could be a number of things. I don't think it's just the training camp reps. I think it's just a number of things. One of which being, I feel like to this day now this year, this year we've done a lot better job of adjusting it in halftime. But for instance, like I feel like year 3, you have to do something to stop the bleeding with the team running up. That's going into the game, we knew that's what Cleveland's game plan was. They were going to run the ball at will, and it's, to me, that all, you don't come into this game not knowing that and then allow 217 yards on the ground. That says to me that's coaching. So I mean, so if we're going to say lack of execution, absolutely. I believe that's fair to say, and that's just a trend that we're continuing to see with Matt Rule's team. It's like the talent's there. That I refuse to believe that we aren't talented enough to compete. It's now just looking like that we aren't well coached. You come down and Baker Mayfield makes it a game, but again, take the penalties out of it. It's you can't, we can't get any key stops on. I can we can go and look over the film. I can't wait for the film to come out tomorrow to look at how many third downs we get, like big third downs that we gave up. To me, that's coaching. That's been a consistent thing over 3 years. We come on third down, third and long, and we give up the big play. That's a consistent thing over 3 years. So so for that, yeah, I agree. Like, I agree with fans saying, we haven't gotten much better in that regard. And it, again, I've learned not to get too high or too low with this team, but it's getting to the point where it's like, yeah, the fire Matt Rule train, it should be up and running. They should be calling for his job. Because again, at what point do things change? Now, mind you, it's week 1. In 4 weeks from now, if we play better, this is a moot point. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is irrelevant. But again, week 1, you give up 217 yards on the ground, you lose to a backup quarterback, and you don't form any real offense until the second half of the game. You should be criticized as a head coach.
Yeah, because when you say it's about coaching, I mean, again, I never been a head coach or whatever, but when I see them bringing in extra offensive tackles without none of their starting tackles come out, because like I was explaining at the beginning, the Browns, they went old school. They went with what is known as a heavy, unbalanced offensive line personnel look. And when I say heavy, they replaced their tight end with another tackle. So you have center, right guard, right tackle, and then another tackle. And then beside that second tackle, you have either 1 or 2 tight ends. And it seems like we're staying in our regular base personnel. And even when we slide over, we're still not sliding up enough size and weight to combat, what that happening. And so for me, again, I think that goes to coaching because, we're allowed to substitute when they substitute. So if we see one of their wide receivers coming off and they're bringing in, 1 or 2 extra linemen or 2 tight ends, I think we need to have a package ready to go to combat that, but it seems like we just stick with whatever we're in out there and just feel like we should be able to make a play, and we keep getting our asses handed to us. Now, do y'all kind of see it like that as well?
Yeah. I'll even take it down simpler than that. Like, yes, the situational stuff, like personnel groupings, is off. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, that makes sense that we're coming out 13 personnel or whatever. and it's third and whatever. Like, come on now. But at the same time, I'm gonna make it even simpler. Like, just the fact that you calling timeouts at the wrong time is gonna put you at a disadvantage. Like, for example, in this game, Cleveland lines up, they're getting ready to go for it on fourth down. At that point, if you think your defense, like the expectation of your defense here is to have them carry, or like this is a really good unit. You just said last year that this was a top 5 unit. You better nut up and let them dudes make a fourth quarter stop. Let them go. I don't know if he's trying to protect them or whatever. It's like, why would you not let them go for it? Because the chances of you getting a stop and not giving up any points is even better than, like, that's the best case scenario. Even after that, like, it's third down. We just drove the length of the field. We need a score to take the lead. It's third down. Instead of trying to get as much yardage as you can, getting the first down or even a touchdown, like touchdown if it's not there, get as many yards as you can. That's basic football. They do that on every level. Rule has not shown that he can consistently do that, and I'm losing patience because even when he takes a step forward, like the next week he does something dumb and unexplainable. It's like, come on, man, this is the purest form of football, like strategy, just football strategy. Forget all the X's and O's. When do I need to call this timeout? Should I go for it here? What's the pros and cons of going for it here? I'm like, that's simple football, bro. It should not be this hard.
Yeah, I mean, I'll even go off of JD's point. Because I'll be honest, I didn't so much mind the timeout for right before half to, because they had drove the field. I mean, Cleveland had drove the field. They're within our 10, and we haven't shown that we could stop them. So it was like, so them, to be honest, if we're going, Cleveland just didn't respect us. They didn't respect us offensively or defensively. So it's like you keep your offense on the field multiple times on fourth down. So you play chicken with us to see if we're gonna call timeout, to see if we're gonna go for the because I'll be honest, I didn't know if we would have faith to stop them from scoring right before half, so I didn't so much mind that. I'm where I question the just again like what JD said, the situational play calling or situational football is the last drive that we go and we get the field goal to take the lead, and I get after you see that you're in field goal range and you had time where we gave the ball back with too much time on the clock. Go try to score, and don't just settle for the field goal. And that's where the problem I have is like we don't play. I feel like we're too conservative in key moments. Like, dude, after you see that you're past field goal range and there's a minute plus on the clock left, bro, go fucking score. Like, don't stop trying to settle for the field goal just to take the lead when you're giving the ball back with a minute and 30 left on the clock. That's where the situational football comes in. Like, dude, you're already in field goal range and there's a minute left on the clock. Go put a touchdown on the board. Don't settle for you're going three handoffs here and then now the 3rd and 13 or here what was it 3rd and 13 now you just dump it off to CMC and then try to play the field position game. That's not winning football, especially like I said, you already put yourself in a position to where this could be the game winning drive if you kick a field goal. That's why you milk the clock. That's why you take your shots at the end zone, because again, God forbid you don't, I don't know, man. Like I said, I've gotten so frustrated with this team. It's like, dude, like JD said, like we're talking about basic concepts here. It's like you can scheme up just as good a game plan or a better game plan on Madden in some days. That's how I feel. And I shouldn't feel that way, but I feel like there's some days it's like, come on, like this, dude, we're talking about basic stuff here. And it where we go back to this, it's got to be coaching. Again, it's year 3, and we're talking about a lot of the same things that we were talking about in year 1. So it only leads back to one person. There's only one, there's one common denominator, and that's Matt Rule, and or David Tepper. Whatever's one takes the biggest blame at this point. But it's Kev is frustrated, man.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It only makes it worse when you got as many weapons as we do. Like, you got a whole DJ Moore, bro. Like, elite athlete on your team, Christian McCaffrey is not getting tackled in open space by most mere men. Like it's going to take a hell of an effort to get McCaffrey on the ground one-on-one in space. It's like you got Robbie Anderson, probably the fastest guy on the team, like on the offense. It's like you got all these athletes. You got Tommy Tremble and Ian Thomas. They both great blockers. Like they block for a living. It's like you got to play passive. What? Like I feel like that's the tale of the day. We played super passive until we got put back in the game by a couple of our best players, and I feel like that's the thing. Like Wu is always going to be, to me, a guy that's just going his default gear is passive until one of his guys like DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, or Baker Mayfield makes a play out of nowhere to save our skin, and then it looks like we're in it. No, it's like, yo, come on, man. These are professionals, bro. Let them get out there and get their rocks off or whatever. Do what they do. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't get it, then they don't get it. But you got to try.
I'm definitely going down. With my best, weapons, gun blazing. Like man, I heard you say before, empty the motherfucking clip. You know what I'm saying? If I got a DJ Moore who's just coming off a fresh contract extension, if I got a Robbie Anderson who's starting his contract stint, like put it in the hands of my playmakers, my people I'm paying all this money for. I just right before he came on Monday, I was just disappointed. Like between McCaffrey and Foreman, they only had 12 carries, bro. 12.
And like you said, man, and I'm consistent with the empty the clip shit on there is because dude, what are you holding back for? That's my question. Like, what are you gaining from not taking shots? Like, what are you gaining from the conservative game? It's different because it's different if you're playing a defensive minded game. We're gonna beat you on the ground. We're not again. It's different if you're playing the game plan that Cleveland just fucking beat us with. That's different. Then it's like I'm okay with you not taking your shots. I can live with that because again, I got a running back that's averaging 5 yards a carry. My other running back is averaging fucking 7 yards a carry, and we can beat you that way. We're not, we go away being conservative. You stop using the best weapon that you have, one of the best weapons in football when you're healthy. You go away from a top 20 receiver. You got one of the fastest receivers in football in Robbie Anderson. And dude, between Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, they had what 9 touches. It's like, bro, that's not winning foot. It's a double down. You're not even running the fucking ball. So it's like, what are we being conservative for? That's my question. Like I said, and bro, and if moving forward, I'm okay with Christian McCaffrey touching the ball 30 fucking times a game because again, we're moving the ball at that point. The game plan I just saw today for 2.5 quarters, we're gonna average 10 points a game at that point. And it's again, man, it's just frustrating because it's like in year 3 we shouldn't still be having these fucking conversations. That's the problem I have. In year 3, we still shouldn't be having this conversation, and we are.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I feel like we were more explosive with the law firm at wide receiver, bro. Like we would test them way more than we did. Like,
I'm not going that far, JD.
I feel like I honestly do. I feel like the play. I feel like it's less about the players. The firm. Yeah, I feel like it's less about the players and more about the play calling. Like, I feel like Rivera and them will be more willing to open up and just like attack. I don't know if it's because we had Cam at quarterback, but it's like you got all these weapons and not one bullet shot, bro. Like what?
Man, but you know what?
It feel like that scene from Harlem Nights where they were shooting at the store. They unload a clip and dudes shooting one at a time. That's what it feel like, bro.
Man, you know where? It's to me, honestly, bro. It's just it's got to be a cultural thing with Carolina, man. It's because even going back to with Cam, we were conservative as hell with Cam, and again, it was halfback power. Then then play action to take a 15, 20-yard shot downfield with Cam Newton here. That was our game plan. And then if that didn't work, QB power. Then we're again play action shot downfield with our that was our game plan. Shula wasn't a great offensive coordinator. We just had a franchise quarterback that could kind of mask some of the. So again, when you go back to even Ron Rivera's tenure, it's like we were a conservative offense. We had the 2015 being the outlier year. Outside of that, we were a conservative offense. Moving forward here, Matt Rule, we're even a more conservative offense. So it's to me, it's a cultural thing with us, man. It's again, it starts up top and shit trickles downward, man. And to me, David Tepper deserves a lot of we should be all looking at David Tepper sideways right now. Like, dude, you were the issue. I mean, we can blame Matt Rule. I'm kind of getting off Matt Rule because Matt Rule took a contract that he did. I mean, that who's gonna pass up being paid like a king, and you haven't been proven shit. That's David Tepper's fault. Like, I'm not mad at Matt Rule for taking a contract. Like, I'm mad at David Tepper for bringing his ass in here. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Right. Yeah, like at the end of the day, truthfully, if you ask any one of us Panther fans, if another fan of another team say, man, what's the Panthers' identity? I don't have an honest answer for him.
Christian McCaffrey. I'm no longer look to me. I'm no longer even ashamed of saying that no more because when Christian McCaffrey's at his best, he's one of the best offensive players in the field. In the league. To me, we have to stop trying to recreate the wheel. If defenses, you can't when he's healthy, you cannot game plan against Christian McCaffrey. He brings too much against the defense that you have to keep him on the field. I'm tired of the arguing like, okay, well, he's going to get hurt. Bro, you don't play the game to avoid being hurt. That's not why we play football. Period.
Exactly.
Bro, if he got to touch the ball 30 times a game for us to compete for a win, fucking do it. Like that's the point I'm at with it. It's like I love DJ Moore to death, but until DJ Moore is demanding 15 touches a game, bro, Christian McCaffrey, I will run Christian McCaffrey to I'm telling you, to the wheels fall off at this point. Because what are we being conservative for? We clearly see that trying to not filter the offense through Christian McCaffrey, we look like a fifth grade offense, and that's not winning football. To me, our identity is Christian McCaffrey. Period.
The Carolina Christian McCaffreys.
I don't know, fellas. All I can say is we're on to New York.
and Kel, I want to be fake. I want to have faith that we can chip New York. I just looked at New York game and brother, if Saquon Barkley is anything back to healthy, we are for a long game, man. Now that being said, I think that we match up a little better against New York, and that also being said, they don't have a Myles Garrett to just fucking wreck a game like that. Now, that being said, I won't sleep on the defensive ends that's in New York, but they don't have a Myles Garrett that can absolutely destroy a game by himself. And that's essentially what Myles Garrett did for a better part of the first half. It's like we can only do so much offensively because again, Ikem Ekwonu had got all he wanted with Myles Garrett and some. And I don't see New York having that type of playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. I also, we got to go prove it, man. It's all the faith that I want to have in this team. It's been it's been tested today, man.
Yeah, and just taking a quick peek at New York, they went on the road and played the last year's #1 AFC team, the Tennessee Titans, in Nashville, and they won. I'm looking at the stats real quick, fellas. Daniel Jones for 17 of 21, $188, 2 touchdowns, had a passer rating of 115.9. Saquon Barkley, 18 carries, 164 yards, 9.1 yards a pop, fellas. Looked like he broke one off for 68 yards. But even if you take away that 68, he still had a hell of a average about 5 yards a carry. Had a touchdown. Far as wide receiver threats, Shepard, 2 catches, 71 yards and a touchdown. Barkley had 6 catches for 30 yards. Some wide receiver named James, 5 catches for 59 yards. So they're not necessarily offensively overpowering, but they they clearly did enough to go on the road in the game that probably no one, predicted them to win, and they went out there and handled business. They held big Derrick Henry big ass to 82 yards, less than 4 yards a carry, and they pretty much stifled the passing attack of Tannehill. He had 266 yards. So this, just like last year, don't go on this. We think, oh, it's just the Giants. We got this. No, no, no. We got our asses handed to us by a Giants team. I think was actually worse last year than this year. So
they were. They were by a good bit.
Yeah, so they coming home. They home opener. They 1-0, and they probably looking at us. That offensive line of Saquon Barkley probably looking like, shit, okay, let's eat.
That's
and
facts.
Lost money again. Hot almighty. But yeah, man, it's been brutal, but that's all I can tell you.
Boy, I'm look. Barkley took off on them boys today.
Yeah, he did.
If I'm Carolina, I'm like, yo. So this thing called run fits, right? Like,
right.
Let's talk about those in film session. Because look, Barkley, as far as like his style of running, he's more of like a outside zone kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll bounce it off, but he'll go bang his head on the goalpost if you don't come and tackle him. So it's like it can get ugly fast. That O line for the Giants too. I think Evan Neal. I don't know if he's starting. I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah, they're definitely improved in that area. So it could be a long day tomorrow next week.
Right, definitely. Let's see. Got a message. Monty said his phone died. So hopefully we can join back as we get ready to wrap this up here. But if not, we'll catch you next time. So JD got I'm reading the questions in the fans chat, and just to go off, they said they want to talk about the penalties, that had outcome on the game. Obviously, the biggest one was the call. Brian Burnsman called for roughing the passer. When he didn't rough the passer, all he did was push the tackle into the quarterback, and they called that a roughing the passer penalty. You know me, I'm never one to believe in, hey, we lost the game because of the refs. Because, like I said, there was plenty of other stuff that we had control of that we not take care of. But, bruh, that type of call at that situation, bruh, like, even though it don't change nothing, I'm sending it up to the league office. They something got to be done, bro. Because that was just one of the, and I'm not saying as a panel. Even if this happened to any other team, and I'd be like, as a defensive, someone that watched the trends, a defensive lineman, as a defensive end, if I'm pushing if I got my dude on skates and I push him his quarterback, that's roughing the passer. Are you serious? Brian Burns didn't even touch him. It was his own guy.
It's like at this point you can't sack him. You can't even push somebody else into him. It's like how am I gonna play defense, bro? Like I feel like if you win the rep like that and you have your guy on skates and you have him hemmed up like that and he happens to hit his quarterback, oh well. Tell him to play better. Tell their quarterback to watch out, to move, or do something. It's like, but outside of that one, I feel like most of our yardage, we yielded like 96 yards to penalties off of 8 penalties. So as far as like chunks of yards go, your PIs make up for a lot of that. So the one PI where CJ Henderson panicked and kind of just grabbed Amari Cooper when he and Xavier Woods were in position to make a play on the ball in the end zone. So that was a huge chunk of yards. I think they got J.C. Horn. Amari Cooper was going for a corner route or an outbreaking route or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was a corner route. And he grabbed them, and it was called PIs too. So it's also one of the reasons why I'm like, y'all wanted to play man coverage against Amari Cooper. if like when this film come out, I'm telling you, Amari was making him look dumb. Like it was bad. And there was like, well, stack the box to sell out against the run and just play man coverage. Nah, bro, I don't know about playing no man coverage out there because if you miss that tackle, it's touchdown. So, and I know that's our defensive identity too. But it's like, yo, you got to kind of understand the situation and play that. So, yeah, those penalties hurt us, and then we scored a touchdown. Scored the extra point. Then Eddie kicks the ball out of bounds, so gives them a shorter field, a 40-yard line start right there. So we can polish some stuff up as far as penalties go. And then this is another reason why I'm kind of fed up with rule at this point. This has been an issue for a long time. This has been an issue, consistent issue, as far as penalties go. On top of like they spend all this time slapping DBO signs. Rule tells that to go away, and then he's just like, well, if they commit a penalty, they'll just come out the next play. That didn't work either, obviously. So it's like, yo, how long is it gonna take for you to get some consistency out there and not keep hurting ourselves? It's like we're already not controlling the trenches. So like it just exacerbated the issue there. So yeah, man, it was ugly as far as penalties go.
Yeah, and the other one that was probably just as egregious, if not more, depending on it. Now, I don't have the definition of rule book, but the fake intentional grounding, like,
Oh yes.
bruh, what was that about, man? Because I heard it. Luke Kuechly was going fool over it, man. But what happened, man?
So they snap the ball, whatever. Brissett goes to spike the ball, takes a step back with his like back foot, and then he spikes the ball. By rule, that's a fake spike. It should have been called intentional grounding. But after the game, one of the refs talked to a journalist or whatever. I don't know why they got a media availability, but they said by rule they thought that the step back didn't constitute a fake spike, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because the point of the spike is to spike the ball as fast as you can to
Right.
make a dead ball. So why you need to take a step back to spike the ball is beyond me. I'm not even sure if he hits the ball. I didn't even rewatch the play. I was just so upset. I was like, well, why are we doing a fadeaway spike? Like, come on now. But yeah, you know the refs don't ref, bro.
Yep, look like they're in mid-season form already. So, man. Well, like I said, man, we gonna see what type of adjustments and practice coming up we're gonna have, and get ready to make this trip up 95 to New York City and see if we can avenge last year's loss and bring a dub back to get us to 1-1 before we had that three straight home games. So if there was ever time to see some momentum, it's definitely the time is now. Real quickly, just looking around the division, seemed like it was a nail biter, a similar ending between the New Orleans Saints and Atlanta Falcons. I see the Saints like they won with their kicker at the last second as well, beat the Falcons at home 27-26. And I see that our other division rival, the Tampa Bay Bucks, are getting ready to play the Dallas Cowboys. Now, you talk about, man, who you quote root for, who you want to win, lose, or however you want to look at it, boy. I'm just watching the game. I always want a divisional rival to lose, so
yeah.
I would never say I'm going for Dallas. I would just say I want Tampa to lose. I'll just leave it at that.
I want both of them to lose.
Hey, a tie, even better. There it is. Yeah. But hey, we'll see. But JD, my man, I appreciate you joining me with this live, man. I was kind of nervous, me doing it. I'm not at home or in a hotel where I've done it before. I'm doing it from the sleeper area of my truck. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you, taking the time out to help explain and break down this game and give you insight and analysis, man. So Definitely look forward to doing this with you again next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That man a trailblazer. He said he on the move on y'all.
Yeah. Yep. But I'll be coming home. I leave out here Thursday morning, so I'll be home next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Unfortunately, the Panthers will be in New York, so I won't get to go to a game. But I'll be able to relax, chill with family and friends, and enjoy sleeping in my bed for 3 straight nights. So that'll be something that I always cherish.
Heck yeah. Underrated.
Yeah. So listen, Panther fans, Foreman Rush fans, we appreciate you guys. Um, sorry that we didn't get to go through and answer more of your questions and comments directly like we normally do. We'll make a better attempt at it next time. But we're definitely glad that you chimed in today. Definitely read all of your comments and was able to work it into our conversations here. So thank you for always supporting the Four-Man Rush. You guys are great. We feel like that you are the ones that help us push to do what we do behind the scenes to bring you guys the best, in-depth, detailed, unbiased content about this Carolina Panthers team. So on behalf of myself, Monty, who was able to join us for a little while, Will, Big Smooth, my main man JD here. JD, you got any closing remarks before we go?
I hope to God we win next week. That's all I got.
Bruh, I need that 1-1 in my life.
Bad.
Yes, sir. All right, but as always, again, thank you, fans. I'm just real quickly here. Bill Spires, a day one for us. Carl Van, Freddie Figueroa. These seen the ones. Albert Burnett III. These seen the guys that I see a lot of our recent comments on. I see Panther Blue from YouTube. Katie Russell. Yeah, all you guys, just want to thank you for sticking around with us. Thank you for helping making the Four-Man Rush what it is. We definitely look forward to you guys checking us out on our different social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, IG, and we definitely look forward now that NFL Plus is offering the Coaches 22. JD, you might be having time to throw a little segment in using a little film this year. You think?
Absolutely. I'm always down for that.
Okay, bet. We have to work something out. Have a little film session.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. Bet. All right. Hey, well, again, everybody, y'all take care. Stay safe. It was a rough one today, but, Panther fans, we keep pounding no matter what. That's what we do. And, again, want to thank you all, and we'll catch you all out there in social media. Y'all take care.